with Rebecca Enonchong. I'm founder and CEO of ActivSpaces. I'm also involved in several initiatives to support tech entrepreneurs in Africa, including ActivSpaces, which I chair.
We were having a conversation about the differences between anglophone and francophone startup culture. What are those differences?
I think many people think it's a linguistic issue, obviously because the whole startup world is Anglo-Saxon. Most of the startups always express themselves in English, but I think it's more than that. You know, what we've noticed here in Cameroon, which is very unique because we're officially a bilingual country, is that the hub of technology entrepreneurs, actually the main hub started in Buea, which is on the English-speaking side, which is a very small town. So you would think that either the capital Yaoundé or the economic capital Douala would be the hubs for technology, but it's traditionally been Buea, and I think that that's because of the proximity to the more Anglo-Saxon culture, which is more open, which is less risk-averse, less formal. So I think a lot of it is tied to the relationship between Francophone Africa and France is not known to have the best startup culture, and I think some of the differences emanate from that.
And you were saying about education as well, that the education is very...
Yeah, the educational system, the Francophone system, which I'm a product of, is quite rigid. You know, you have to learn everything by heart, and there's no thinking outside of the box. As much as outside of the French region, in the US for instance, in Anglo-Saxon culture, you're taught to think out of the box, to think for yourself, and to learn how to make decisions on yourself, and based on the type of education that you receive. So in Francophone education, that's discouraged, it's even punished. And so coming out of that sort of educational system and then into the startup world is a difficult transition for many.
Things are changing though, aren't they? Do you think in 5 to 10 years' time it will be very different in Francophone Africa?
I think that what we've seen in Cameroon, for instance, is that many Francophones want to go to English-speaking schools. And they don't just go to the English-speaking schools to learn English, but they go to the English-speaking schools because they embrace that culture. And they want people to have opportunities in the English-speaking world. For instance, in Buea, again, there's a university there called the Catholic University Institute of Buea, and 70%, it's an English-speaking school, but 70% of their students come from Francophone Africa. So I think that is changing. And I was speaking with the head of the school, the university yesterday, who was telling me that it's not just to learn English, it's not just about the English, it's an opportunity for them to embrace Anglo-Saxon culture.
And the university also has a specialism in entrepreneurship.
In entrepreneurship, yeah. That's their motto. It's the entrepreneurial university. And so in each and every one of their faculties, they push entrepreneurship. And that's very unusual. That's something that's very new, and that's something you would never see in a Francophone institution.
So what do you think the first generation of successful Francophone startups will be, say, in Cameroon?
I think we're already seeing them. You know, some of the best known startups today internationally are actually led by Francophones. It's just that their English is so good that people don't realize that they're actually originally from Francophone Cameroon. The Cardiopad, for instance, is a Francophone's invention. Joss TV, which is one of our celebrated startups, are Francophones. But I think they make so many efforts to speak English and to embrace that startup culture, which is Anglo-Saxon, that you almost don't know that these are Francophone startups.
I am Michael Ike. I work for Abuja Technology Village as the lead of innovation platforms and partnerships. Under this platform, we have Inspire Incubator that takes care of innovation and entrepreneurship initiatives that we have.
Talking earlier about the importance of culture, and you were talking about traditional existing cultures and how those map against rule-based cultures. Run me through that conversation again, because it's sort of crucial to the discussion of entrepreneurship.
Yes, it is, because human society never exists in the air. Yeah. So there must be some underlying fabric that's guiding the outlook of a society. And I was making that in reference to, we usually look to the United States, or the West generally, in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship. Forgetting that the culture there is usually rule-based, where the government, as a big brother, for instance, prescribes the rules to be followed. But here is a bottom-up approach because the society evolves from the family. So the culture that family has a strong role to play. So for us at Inspire, we are looking at how do we merge both to be relevant in the global economy that we have today. So instead of just adapting wholesale, the rule-based approach that is, I mean, mostly alien here, we see how we can take the important elements of that and fuse into, you know, our own society, family-based culture.
And how do you think that will happen?
We really think that looking deeper into our culture, I mean, entrepreneurship has been on in the likes of apprenticeship system, and we are now looking at how can we make entrepreneurship happen along the lines of apprenticeship system, where somebody will learn under a master, you know, in those days of skill acquisition, but this time around is about now under a mentor. Yeah. So we are a network of mentors, either as angel investors or just advisors. You know, when they learn under them, especially if you are interested as an entrepreneur in the sector that the mentor operates in. So you now learn, and you, at the end of the day, you get to be free to go and apply it, you know, or even as you learn, you implement. So that's the kind of approach that we want to leverage on our existing culture or what we are used to, and bring out the kind of jobs, I mean, entrepreneurship outcomes that we want to see.